So the next thing we have to do is, now that we've populated our database, is actually show some content on our web page. And in this video, we're going to talk about 1. How to create a URL, and 2. How to show data. So we know already that the urls.py file, which is in our my site directory, holds all the URLs of our website. If we don't add a URL inside of our main my site folder, then we won't be able to access it in our website. The other thing we also know is that to show any content for our polls application, we're going to need to put it in our views.py file, because we know that any view will be in the views.py file. So somehow we have to connect our urls.py file in our my site directory to the views.py file in our polls directory. So the way we're going to do this is a 2-step process. The first step is going to link the urls.py file in the my site directory all the way over to a new urls.py file in our polls directory. And then from there, we're going to link the views.py file to the new file that we're going to create. Now, what I just said might be a bit confusing, I agree, but I'll go ahead and show you how we're going to do it. Go ahead and type URL r caret polls slash. So this creates 127.0.0.1/polls, and then we're going to say include polls.url, polls.urls. Okay, so it's going to give us an error. It says what is include. So go ahead and import include after URL, and that error goes away. So this was the first step. We've created a new URL. It's /polls, and then we've also included polls.urls. So basically we're saying head over to the URLs file in our polls directory to get more information. So the next thing we have to do is right click on your polls directory, hit new, Python file, and then for your name say urls.py. So immediately you can see we get our urls.py file, and that's fantastic. So we need to import a few things. We need to import the URL and the include again. So from django.conf.urls, import URL, comma, include. Or actually, I'm sorry, we don't need include anymore. And then from dot, so from our current folder, import views. All right. So whenever you see this gray text in Django, that basically means that Django doesn't know what it is because you're not using it yet. So we now have to use the stuff we imported in our code. So we're going to say URL patterns is equal to, and then brackets. All right. We're going to create a new URL, and our regex in this case is going to be a bit different. We're going to say caret and then the $sign. And I'll explain what that is. Don't worry about it. We're going to say views.index, and then name is equal to index. Okay, that's all we have to do. Now let's take a look. So let me go ahead and delete those spaces, and let me explain. We imported django.conf.urls to get our URL. We imported the views so that we can call views.index. The caret sign and the $sign basically mean don't add anything to our URL. So currently our URL is 127.0.0.1/polls, okay? So let me go ahead and write that down. It's 127.0.0.1/polls. Now what we could have done is we could have made it something like /1 or /2 or /anything. But since we don't want to do that right now, we're just going to leave it like this. We're going to leave it as it is. The second thing calls for what do you want to display? Well, we want to display views.index. We haven't created this function yet, but we're going to. And then we gave our URL a name. Go ahead and add a comma after this since it's an array. And actually, head back to your urls.py and add a comma after this as well. That's one thing I forgot to do. My bad. And now the last thing we need is head over to your views.py file, and now it's time to add some code. So the way we're going to add some code is something called an HTTP response. And what that does is it basically adds some basic text to your website. So we're going to say def index, pass in request to let it know that this is a request function, return HTTP response. We haven't imported it yet, that's why you don't see it. And then we're going to say awesome job guys. this is the index page of our polls application. All right, fantastic. Let's go ahead and import HTTP response. So from Django.http, import HTTP response. Fantastic. So I believe that's it. Let's go ahead and run our server now. Python manage.py run server. Let's take a look. No errors. Fantastic. Let's head over to our Chrome to take a look, or any browser for that matter. 127.0.0.1/polls. What do we get? All right, it says that's not available. I believe we're missing the 800. That's why. All right, let's take a look. Awesome. Now you can see, awesome job guys. This is the index page of our polls application. Let's do a quick recap of what we covered in this video. We learned the two-step process of adding any URL to a Django application. The first thing you do is you add it to your urls.py in your My Site folder. We included the directory or the URLs file for our application urls.py file. And then inside of that, we told what do we want to display. And in this case, we're displaying views.index, which is some basic HTML text. Anyways, this is fantastic progress, guys. We now have some text displaying our first web page. Alright guys, that's fantastic. In the next video, we'll cover adding information from our database and more. And I'll see you in the next video.